Hi everyone. Welcome to a special edition of Storytime with Angel. We're having an extra edition this week because I'm going to be at Gay Romance Literature Retreat in Chicago next week, so I probably won't have time to do a reading of any sort. Who knows, maybe we will, but I'm betting not. So today we're actually going to do an excerpt from one of mine. This is the Brimstone Omnibus. There are 3 novellas in here. This is science fiction humor. It's not meant to be taken seriously. Brimstone, demon owned and operated, kind of says it all. These guys were written as kind of a dare, doing a lot of genre mashing. And the stories originally all appeared in Mischief Corner anthologies, and we've put them all together in the fun little omnibus with Shax on the cover. And these stories are about Shax, the demon prince of thieves, who has self-exiled himself from hell because he kind of got in trouble with the boss. He and his friend Varen, who is also a demon, steal a spaceship, acquire a spaceship, and go off on, certain adventures which aren't always of the moral or legitimate kind. The first book involved anti-gravity cows. They were kind of the central theme and catalyst for that book. That's Hell for the Company was the title, and that's of course taken from the Mark Twain quote, you go to heaven for the climate and hell for the company. The second book, Fear of Frogs, was obviously the catalyst was frogs. Shax isn't really fond of the little amphibians. And the third book, Shax's War, we're introduced to our friend Leopold, the pink hedgehog who talks who talks entirely in haiku. Yeah, I can talk today. We are in my study today because it is cold and nasty in the sunroom now, unfortunately, so we may be up here for the season. What I want to read to you today is a piece from Shax's War, and that's the third book in this Brimstone cycle. There probably will be more stories at some point, but right now there are only 3, and Shax's War is number 3. The little tiny blurb for that says the boys desperately need a vacation. With the not quite ill-gotten gains from the frog incident, Shax takes the Brimstone's crew to the exclusive resort planet Opal. What could possibly go wrong there? Of course, everything does, but that's for another time. This is the very beginning of chapter 1, and the boys are having a game of trauma ball, in which the idea is to get goals on an impossible playing field of obstacles. Well, nearly impossible, as you'll see. So, Shax's War, Chapter 1. Shax yelped as the trauma ball hummed against his palm, the surface shifting from swirling orange toward yellow. Before it could deliver its nastiest shock, he flung the thing at Varen's head. Bastard! Sparks flew as Varen swung his horns and batted the ball away. He aimed right for Ness, who sidestepped and caught the ball as it powered back down to blue. Wings spread for balance, tip of his tongue protruding from the corner of his mouth, Ness spun and ran the 3 steps up the ramp at the court's far end, aiming for the hovering sphere goal. Ness is a fallen angel. He happens to be Shax's lover. Sorry about that. At the last second, the goal moved left, and Ness's shot caught the magnetized lip, which hurled the trauma ball back at him at some ridiculous, unsafe speed. Shax winced at the sharp crack when hard ball met angel head. Ow! Ness flopped down at the top of the ramp, rubbing at his temple. Someone gonna explain to me again how this is fun? Corny called from where he balanced on the swinging planks that made up mid-court. He'd been stuck on the water hazard for several plays, his muscular body and high center of gravity an indisputable disadvantage, since the wrong move would send him into the water and cost him a 5-minute penalty. Their cowboy had figured out the hard way in the first quarter that the pool itself enforced the penalty, and didn't let the penalized player out a second before. Good thing he can tread water. The ball was now happily rolling along the elevated sidewall ramps, and Shax prepared to jump for the rings that would put him at the right height to catch it when it rolled free. Had they been playing teams, but no one could agree on a fair way to pair the four of them up, so solo it was. Shax cocked his head, listening to the rumble of the ball as it trundled downward. Ness was still on the ramp. Corny was stuck. Varen was navigating the sponge quadrant where his claws were sticking. Perfect. He leaped, caught a ring in either hand, got a good swing going, and let go with his right hand just in time for the ball to drop from the chute. With a whoop, he swung free and dropped with the ball clutched to his chest, only to be hit from behind with the force of several megatons. Wind knocked out of him. He could only watch as Varen snatched up the ball. "Attempted murder isn't supposed to be part of the game," he wheezed as Varen took his shot. It seemed to be too far right, but the sphere turned, and the ball shot inside. "You're all right, you baby," Varen growled. "Get up before you really get fucked up." Shax heaved himself to his feet, staggering a few steps before the floor decided that he'd been in one place too long and started bucking. Ness had moved now, too. "Shax, sure you're all right, love?" "I'm good. There are two of you right now. Don't mind. Two of you are nice." All four of them managed to reach the sand quadrant closest to the near goal, where they crouched in anticipation, waiting for the sphere to spit out the ball. Shax got Varen's elbow in his ribs in a playful shove from Corny as they jockeyed for position, but they might as well have stood still. The sphere rumbled and disgorged the trauma ball with a hacking cough, setting it high and wide. Ness, with his superior height and reach, snagged it easily, holding it up to keep it out of reach. Any second, Varen and Corny would charge him, and then Shax wouldn't have a chance. An evil thought percolated in his mind, and he sidled up close to Ness, blew a breath across his bare nipple, and reached down to cup Ness's balls through the tight game shorts. A strangled whimper caught in Ness's throat, his jaw slack, eyes saucer wide. He fumbled the ball and dropped it. Shax caught it before it hit the sand, snatched a quick kiss, and bounded away toward the far goal. He slammed the trauma ball into the sphere just as it hummed over to yellow again. "Ha! That's 3 for me! Game!" Of course, Shax's little methods for winning are not going to go over well, but you'll have to read the story to see Ness's reaction to that. The Brimstone Boys are available separately, Hell for the Company, Fear of Frogs, and Shax's War, or they're available together in the nice omnibus edition, and of course they are in those original Mischief Corner book anthologies as well. So that would be the Horns and Halos collection, the Hot Off the Range collection, which is cowboy stories. Yes, I put a science fiction story in the cowboy anthology. You have to read it to see, though, because it does belong there. And Not in the Stars, of course, was our science fiction anthology from this past year, which is in the running right now for a Rainbow Award for science fiction. So it has made the finals. We're very proud of that. Even if we don't actually place, it's absolutely fabulous to have an anthology place in the Rainbow Awards. That's all we have for today. If you're going to be at Gay Romance in Chicago, come and see me. I will have Leopold with me. I'll have all sorts of fun things with me. And of course, if you want me to read to you, I'm more than happy to. See you next time.